Hi there and welcome to the short video just to demo how to turn Droplet computing into a Windows service. At the moment the Droplet application is running in what we call a per user format, and that means the end user starts the container as and when they need it. And that's a model that works quite well when an application is only occasionally needed. A better model for a lot of customers is to actually have the container start when the computer starts and have it run as a Windows service. In that case, this particular UI doesn't show the start container button because the container is already started. So if you like, I've already set up the software, I've tested everything that I've got running inside the software, everything looks good. I now want to switch from this per user mode to a per server mode. The first thing I need to do is to grab the settings JSON file that makes up the settings for the application. One of the easy ways to grab that is to use shell:appdata to get to your profile, and inside the profile location I can find the settings JSON file. I can copy that file, and what I need to do is create in program data a folder for that particular file, and essentially that file will tell the service all the settings it needs to actually start. So I create a new folder called Droplet. Let's make sure I spell Droplet correctly. There we are. And I dump a working known copy of the settings JSON to that location. It's always helpful to confirm the location of the actual file itself and whether the settings that you've got in the settings JSON are ones that work for you. For example, I can see here that redirection of printers is still false, and I would like that to be true. So I'm going to save that change. The next step is opening up a command prompt and actually registering that service. It's a good idea to obviously be the administrator and make sure you elevate your rights to make sure you're doing this in an admin node and not with a generic account. It is, after all, a computer service that we're setting up rather than something that's per user. Now, in the program files and Droplet folder, you'll find that there is a resources folder, and inside there a container folder, and inside there a services folder. And if I do a dir here, you can see that the utility that we use to register the service is living in this location. So the syntax for this is droplet.exe and install. That installs the service. The next thing I'm going to do is make sure that our client engine always opens after the user logs on, and that it runs in a minimized view. So we still need the client to load to attach to the service, but it doesn't need to pop up on the user's screen. It can just hide discreetly in the system tray out of the way from the user's line of sight. So the easiest way for me to create and make that application run in that discrete way is to create a new shortcut, and I'll rename this to be called something like Droplet Auto Start, for example. It can be called anything. And I'm going to add to the end of the path here our launch syntax together with -- minimized. Now, minimized is spelt with an S, not with a Z, so just watch out for that. And it is 2 dashes, not a single dash. I can take that shortcut and cut it to a location in Windows where that will always run for all users. It's called shell: startup. All I have to do is paste the entry there, and you can see actually I've already done this before, but I'll overwrite that one there so we've got the one that I've just created, and that will make sure our client always starts when the computer starts. The best way to test this is to reboot the machine, because that's really our goal here, to reboot the machine and have the Droplet service start when the computer starts, and for it to be sort of hidden and running in the background. So I'm going to do a reboot now, and then I'll resume the video once the computer has rebooted. Well, as you can see, the computer has rebooted and the Droplet client has loaded automatically in the system tray. If I just double click this for a second, the main client app will be restored. Notice how there's no start container button. It's not needed because the container is already started. So in the main, what will happen is end users will simply log into their machine. They'll find a shortcut on their desktop, and then when they double click at it, the application will load out of the container without them ever seeing the start container process. Let's do that and see what happens. So there's the application loaded, and a lot of customers feel this is a more seamless experience because the container is one that's per computer rather than per user. It's also worth saying that it's far easier to manage a small number of computers than it is to manage a large number of users. So in organisations where the number of users outweighs the number of computers because of shift work, for example, and where it's pretty much every computer is the same, or a set of computers in a particular location all have the same software, it's perhaps the most efficient way of deploying our software because you need just one image per computer rather than many images per user. Anyway, as you saw, it was a very simple process. All of that can be scripted, of course, because it's really just 3 components. Create a folder and copy a file into that folder, register the service, and then make sure that the software, our client end if you like, connects to the service and allows the application to load. Thanks for watching. Bye.